Hi, my name is Kevin McDonald, and I'm declaring my independence. Independence from what? Why, negative thoughts and energy, of course. Chief among them, hate, division, and fear. You see, I know that we're all one, and together we can solve any problem, save our planet and each other. Please, join me as we come together as one and choose a better way to be. So now, let's begin with my independence report.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to my Independence Report. My name is Kevin McDonald, and I have got a absolutely wonderful story to share with you today. And the two ladies that are sitting right over there, Janet and Jenny, are the subjects. Hello. Are the subjects
so Canadian.
Are the subjects of today's conversation, and it is an empowering, inspiring story that we're about to tell you. So I want you to hang with us for the entire show, because I'm telling you, this is really a way cool thing that we're going to be talking about. First of all, I'd like to introduce Janet, who is been around. She's in the arts, as it were. She's also had her own health challenges, and she is the mother of Jenny. And they have been working together for a very long time on an issue that came to light early on, and we're going to talk all about that. But first of all, Janet and Jenny, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
Thank you.
We're good.
Yeah, we're doing good.
We want to thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you two, especially with Jenny's warm smile, it just makes my heart warm, and I haven't met you yet in person, but I'm so proud of you, and I'm so proud of what you've done, both mom and daughter, in working through a lot of issues. Now, first of all, the first thing is, Janet, you've also had, in addition to what Jenny's gone through, you've also had your own health challenges, haven't you?
Yes. Well, I can happily say I'm a 7-year breast cancer survivor.
Congratulations.
But that was a shock because no one had it in our family. But I took it like I did Jenny's autism. It was just go positive, full speed ahead, don't look back. Learn from it, and be there for others.
Absolutely. When did you discover, or when were you told that your brand new, beautiful baby girl had an issue?
Well, it was, you just turned 29, right? So
Yeah.
it's about 26 years. I get older. I get older. It was 26 years ago. Jenny was just over 3. And I had known before, though, that something was wrong. And that's when I was told that Jenny was low functioning autistic. And back then, that was a word I'd never heard of before. I didn't know anything about it. Unbeknownst to me, she was showing all the signs, but I didn't know what autism was back then.
And really, 30 years ago, nobody really knew what autism was. It wasn't really in the big deal, and that it is now. And now they're talking about that it affects, as I've heard statistics that are all over the board, but I've heard as many as 1 in 60. Is that kind of correct?
Oh, yeah, I'd say it's close, maybe even more. The stats on the rise of autism in this last, I'd say, couple of decades is just, it's very high. It is more in boys, but it's found now even higher in girls as well.
Mm-hmm.
And why would it be higher in boys? I mean, boys are kind of weird anyway, but especially the little boys. But I had to, so I can say that. But why would it be boys rather more than girls? Do you have any idea? Do they know?
No, you know, that is a real. Jenny and I were just at an event the other night, and that was being talked about. It's something to do. Someone was saying the mental composition of the brain, the neurological composition of the brain, that for some reason it affects boys more than it does.
And plus, girls that are on the autism spectrum are a little different compared to boys, where we find it easier to kind of like mirror or mimic people with things. So like, so if someone's doing one thing, we can kind of mimic it because that's the appropriate way to do it. So it's kind of harder to diagnose a woman that way as well, where I guess it's kind of easier with a male in that sense.
Is that because you guys, the women I'm talking about, are able to blend in more with society and you pay attention so you can mimic things so that you can hide it better?
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
yes,
Yeah, exactly.
yes. Because even Jenny now, because she's high functioning, a lot of people look at us at book signings or speaking engagements, or when I explained about her autism, they're going, "What?" Because sometimes with girls and some with boys, it's very subtle. When you become higher functioning autistic, and it's a little bit harder to see it. But I know, and she knows. And then sometimes it will show at times. Yeah.
Well, and when you found this out at 3, I'm sure you started to do some research about it to find out what in the hell they were talking about, and stuff. And what did you discover? And what in those days, 30 years ago, they really didn't even have a course of treatment or anything, did they?
Oh no, Kevin, you just asked the best question and you hit the nail on the head, because when I first found out, I was living in Yellowknife. So we ended up moving to Vernon because there was more opportunity there to find out, because I took Jenny for a hearing test because I thought maybe it was her hearing, because with an autistic child at the beginning, when you don't know what it was, and for Jenny back then, she was in her own world. She wasn't listening anymore. She wasn't talking anymore. She was just grunting and pushing you to stuff. She was lining things up, and just so many different traits that there are. And I remember I thought maybe it's her hearing, because she didn't seem to want to talk, and she was just in this bubble. So we couldn't even do the hearing test because with routine, very routine, all the 5 senses are extremely sensitive compared to people who don't have autism. So I remember I went to the doctor in Vernon thinking, oh, yes, I'm finally going to get help. I'm going to find out what is going on with my daughter and get her back to where she was before. And I remember him looking at me going, he just made me feel like I was overboard, over neurotic, overboard on everything. And I just looked at him. I said, well, I really feel something's wrong. Oh, she's just a 2-year-old. She's going through the terrible twos, da, 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 da. And he says, but the only thing he'd do for me was another hearing test. So I went and I took her for another hearing test, but it was worse this time. Even the audiologist going, we can't. And I said, oh, I know. And I remember walking out of there though, and I remember bawling because poor Jenny, she was just sweating. She was so upset, and I felt so sorry for her. I was just hugging her. So I went back to the doctor, the general practitioner, and I made an appointment, and I wouldn't leave his room. I was never an assertive person, but this was my daughter. I was Mama Bear. I had to be there for her. So I wouldn't leave. And I says, I'm not leaving till you give me an appointment with a pediatrician. So he wasn't very happy, but he sent me to a pediatrician, and that's where the help started. She was only with Jenny for 5 minutes and said, oh my goodness, this little girl needs help. I know you might not have heard this word. I think she's autistic with this pervasive development delay. And then she says, and you need respite. You need care too. So that's where we started. But I couldn't see the specialist for a year afterwards. That's how long I had to wait. So in between, like you said, Kevin, I was really searching for every support in our area. I went outside of the area to a place called the Autism Institute in Sheffield, Massachusetts. So yes, I researched, I learned everything I personally can, because here is the phrase: early intervention is key. Doesn't matter if they're 2, doesn't matter 3 years old, early intervention is key.
Now, describe for me when they said low functioning autism. Jenny is a lot of things. She certainly is not that. But is low functioning meaning that they're not going to do very well and they're not going to function very well?
Yes, that's what the pediatrician. Yeah, when I went to go see the specialist, she sent me in the room and she just looked at me and she just said, your daughter is never going to talk well. She's never going to do well in school. She's never going to be where her peers are. She'll never get married. She'll never work in a bank. And she went on with this list, and I kind of looked at her and I said, can't you give me one little positive here? I said, it would be really nice. So I remember walking out of the door, my poor mom breathing down her neck going, that's not going to happen. So that's what I did, because socialization is very hard for autistics in the way they socialize, and some are very in your face, some are very introverted. So it's very hard. And like when Jenny, like to see Jenny now, Jenny's going, she's used to me talking about her, but to see Jenny now, but if you could have seen her back then, because we have people who worked with her before, they can't believe this is the same girl. They can't believe this is the same girl.
And what do you attribute that to? I know you're Mama Bear and you're a hell of a mom, but was it what you helped her get through in her formative years? Is that what it was, or is
it was a dream team. And I talk about this in my book. It was a dream team. It was the professionals. Like I hit the jackpot, or I had angels coming down from heaven, because both in the professional, non-professional, the school system, I was very fortunate because I have people come to me that just don't get that. So in professional, I had a play therapist who did things like TheraPlay with Jenny, which is learning how to socialize properly and be able to make friends, have friends, how to converse with them, how to communicate, because Jenny couldn't. She didn't want to. She was in her bubble. She would get very mad if anybody tried to talk to her. If anybody took a toy that she was playing with, she wouldn't want to share. So there was a lot of different things that were going on. And then we had speech and language therapist. And I tell you, each one brought me in. They brought me in, so we worked all together as a team. The daycare. Oh, we had the daycare from heaven. They were so good. They worked. They had the professionals come. They worked with them so they would understand and how to be with Jenny, the unconditional love from each one of them. And then we had a psychiatrist, psychologist, Dr. Pfeiffer, who worked with Jenny mentally and was working with me too to work with Jenny. The school, we had education. Learning education assistants, learning resource people that were always working with Jenny. Sometimes she was right in with the other kids, and other times they take her out for certain things that she needed a bit more help with. And the one thing that I was very impressed with is when she went to daycare, because I became a single mom, so I had to work because I had a son too. They decided to put her into just a normal daycare. And I always say autistic children are normal with this special needs. But they put her in, instead of putting her into a special needs daycare, they put her into a normal one. It's the best thing I feel we ever did. And then I went outside and I went to Sheffield, Massachusetts. I didn't go there, but I wrote to them and I phoned them. And there's a couple there who own it, who had a son who was diagnosed with autism. And they were told too to put him in an institution because it was a long time ago too. And they said no. So they started doing all this parallel play and all the things they were doing. They knew I couldn't afford to go. They sent me cassettes. Back then it was cassettes. They sent me VHSs. They sent me writ material. And our whole team worked together. We would have goals. We would have reviews. So between the professionals, the non-professionals, the schools, me as a mom, as a family, her brother, we all worked together as a team. And we're there for Jenny. And then number one, Jenny. She worked hard too.
Jenny, I got to ask you, when did you, what was your earliest memory of the thought that you may be different than other kids?
Me and Mom have different things. But for me, it was kind of like when I was in kindergarten. I still had my Stuffy and my Blankie because I enjoyed them a lot, and I did things differently, and we had to be in like in a little circle group thing for kindergarten. And I don't know, it's just when I had my Stuffy and Blakey, people were staring at me weirdly, doing some, like, I got so weirder. I was like, oh, this isn't normal. I must be different. And then having to go back and forth to learning center compared to other kids was an interesting too. So in that sense, that's how I knew, okay, I'm different from the others. I need more extra help compared to others. And yeah. I guess, yeah.
Well, and as it turned out, because we'll turn to the rest of the story. First of all, Janet, give us the name of your book, please.
It's called The Autistic Author and Animator.
And that's the book that I want you to pick up if you have got, and if the statistics are true, and it's really 1 in 60 that are in some manner or form on the spectrum. That book will be very helpful for you to learn how to work with it and to get the help that you need and that the child needs to have the best possible outcome.
Exactly, and that's what it's all about, because it's called the Autistic Author and Animator, and it's a mother's view of a daughter's triumphs. Yes, we went through tribulations. We had the triumphs too. There were a lot of ups and downs. There were a lot of large curves in the journey on the road. However, you learn from them, and I always just took the positive and would go full speed ahead. And you hit the nail on the head with the book too, because that's what it's about. It gives a whole journey of the very beginning, from after she was born and when this all happened, and it gives every avenue in it, where I went for help, how we worked as a family, even as much to the silent hero. And I highly recommend this, which was very therapeutic for Jenny, was Mr. Sparkles, her dog. He knew when she was having issues. He was always brought a smile on her face and made her happy whenever she was going through things. So there's a lot of nice additives that are in it as well.
Dogs are very intuitive, and they feel your emotions, and they have an uncanny ability to help you get through it, even if it's just a tail wag.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. And it's true. They're intuitive. He knew, because he would come home when Jenny, because there's lots of times Jenny would come to the car after picking her up from school, and she was really upset because she did go through the bullying. And that dog, he just knew it. He would cuddle underneath her and lick her, face, and just, yeah. And then you'd see Jenny's smile come up. So, yeah.
Yes, indeed. Now, I don't want to focus on your teenage years, because I know how tough that can be for someone who's unique and a little bit different. And I know that there was bullying, and I know that they're working on that, kinda, sorta, but they haven't gotten there yet. But I want to turn to what happened. When did you start writing?
Oh man. I guess technically I did like to write and draw when I was little, but I got really more into it when I got into creative writing for 11 and 12. I had this weird dream when I was working on my first book, actually. I was studying for my grade 9 social studies, and I had my TV on just like to keep me awake in that. And all of a sudden there was these weird images from the book that appeared on the TV. But when my mom called me for dinner, I looked back and it was off, the whole time. And the idea never went away. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll start writing about this then. And yeah, creative writing class, I wrote it in there, and we had to do like speeches, like we had to tell our stories in front of our classmates, and I did that with my first chapter, and people really enjoyed it and loved it. And even my teacher suggested you should get that published one day. It's like, oh, okay. And yeah, that's kind of where it all started for me.
And you have had it published, have you not?
Yes, yeah. I even published the second one to it last year, because it's the first of a trilogy.
And what's the name of the trilogy?
Do you want to show them your books?
Yeah.
Do you want me to hold the other one?
Okay. In general, the trilogy is called Dysnomia, because that is the planet they live on. And the first book is called Dysnomia, Outcast on the Distant Moon. And then the second one is called Dysnomia, Home Lies in Your Heart.
Oh, that's really cool. And the who'd you get to illustrate it? The artist's really good.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, who did you get to illustrate?
Her name is Trisha Baldwin. And yeah, she did a really good job with them. And I even do some of my own illustrations in the book as well. I could show.
Yeah, inside the book, Jenny does her own illustrations of her characters and that. But the cover is done by.
Oh, very nice, very nice. And these are not itty bitty teeny weeny books. These are big. These are
the first one is here. I'll hold the other one. The first one's little, but the other one is.
This one's. Yeah, there's a huge difference. Just wait till the third one. Oh my!
We have had people wanting to read the second book so bad, and then they got it and they went. One guy goes, "This is like another War and Peace." He said, but you know what? They're getting like when I went to read, I went, "Oh, this is big." But you know what? it's the continuation from the first book, and the characters, the scenarios, the landscapes, the animals, you can't stop reading. You just got to know what's happening. There's a lot of twists and turns, and it's it's a really fun read, and it's getting quite a following too.
And I also heard something about a screenplay. Tell me about that.
Oh, yeah. As of right now, I'm also one of my dreams for the first book, at least, is to hopefully turn it into an animated movie, 2D if I can, but I won't be too picky. But yeah, I've been writing the script writing for it, and I'm getting pretty close. There's just a few things I have to adjust. Maybe look for a professional scriptwriter review to look it over to give their thoughts and opinions, and then hopefully somewhere around the road I can get it green light and get working on it.
Well, good for you. And Mom, it's got to make your heart really proud of the young lady that she has become.
Yeah, as a parent, we always say we're so proud of our child and what they've accomplished and what they're doing in their lives. But you know what? I'm very proud. But you know what? If I'd say more, I am so happy for her.
Absolutely.
Because she deserves a rich, fulfilled life, just like anyone else her age. And to be told that wasn't going to be there for her, it broke my heart. So I am just so happy when I see her at her book signings and the way she's talking with people and really coming out of her shell and telling about her books and about her story. And then, when we're at speaking engagement, the same thing. And just to see everything she's doing, the joy she has when she's doing animation, the joy she's, when she's writing her books. And it really warms my heart to see how happy she is.
It does. I have a couple of kids myself, and one's 30 and one's 33. And when something good happens to them, it makes me feel good. And it's like you and I are a little, longer in the tooth, and we're kind of living through them because we want the very best for our kids. And it's just so awesome that Jenny, from where she started to where she is today, is like night and day. And it really is fun. And you've got, like I said, you have a beautiful smile, and you are everything that a young lady should be. Yes. Hello. Hello.
Thank you very much.
Oh, there
you
go.
You made her day.
Yeah.
Well, that's the biggest thing here, because we have people saying that they want to do a Jenny. Hello.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, did we freeze?
You're freezing a bit too. Sometimes I don't know if it's our width band on our TELUS here, but sometimes it freezes, and I don't know why. But I was just gonna say, with Jenny, a lot of people say they want to do.
Did I freeze?
Are you there?
I'm here. Did I freeze up? Oh no.
He's freezing. It's probably our width band, because that happens sometimes with the width band.
I'm here.
Yeah, you froze.
Okay, well, just finish your thought, because I can hear you.
You're frozen up.
There you are.
That's what you get with live sometimes, especially that. And sometimes I think it's our width band, sometimes on our TELUS here. We'll blame it on the Canuck side.
And that's fine. But no, I can still hear you. So okay. Continue on. Am I still freezing up?
Nope, you're fine. No, I was just going to quickly mention that a lot of people have said that they want to do a Jenny, because when they read my book, they just go, wow. You see everything which you just mentioned, everything this girl's gone through, but she trekked through the trenches. I always say she trekked through the trenches of bullying. She climbed the steep mountain slopes of academics. She jumped on top and went to, 2D, 3D animation school at Vancouver Film School. And then she went further, jumped in the clouds, and wrote a book. And I had one lady from the States who read my book on the way back to the States from Vancouver. I didn't know her. She got a hold of me and she said, you know what? If that young woman, everything that she went through and where she's at now, and she didn't have any autism in her family, didn't know too much about it, she says, what is stopping me from pushing away my obstacles, my fears, and going full speed ahead and going after my goals, my dreams. So we do it. We wrote this book and want to share our story, not only for the autistic community, to give them hope and to show them that there can be rainbows of colors in their future, to not believe that they're stuck in a rut and they can't go any further, their child or them. But we also, I wrote it for the general public, to shed the stigma box of autism and to shine the positive of these young individuals who are such a beautiful asset to our society and to the workforce as well. So she's a role model, an inspiration, an enlightenment for what an autistic individual can do.
Well, no, I would even say that you're a role model for everybody. Because of what you've accomplished and your ability to write and your ability to imagine. And it was interesting when you were talking about the TV that was dark and you were playing out the scene on the TV.
Yeah.
That the brain is an amazing thing that we don't know a lot about it yet. Even though we've been studying it and stuff, but sometimes those messages come from somewhere else and they come through you. And if you remove the filter a little bit, you can, they come through a little bit more clearly. Does that ring a bell to you at all?
Oh, for sure. I totally get that. That totally makes sense. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Yeah.
And so, goodness knows what you're going to be able to accomplish in this life. And all of the experiences that you have had are going to lead you to where you're going next. And it's a continuing building block. It's like your mom has had challenges in her life, but it's an experience growing thing and so that she's a much better woman now because of having to deal with a child with autism and writing the book and all of those things than she would have been otherwise. So I think in the grand scheme of things, it's at the end of the day, it's a very positive.
Oh, very, very,
Yeah.
very much so. Like, I've never looked at Jenny having autism because I've had people come up to me, oh, you poor thing, a daughter that was autistic. And I kind of looked at him, I went, I have learned so much from her. I said that this has been a journey that at first, yes, I was, oh dear, because I didn't know anything about it. And I just wanted to be there for my child. But do you remember, Jenny, when we were having that interview and that lady asked you if you could wave a magic wand and take away your autism? What did you say? Do you remember?
I do remember being younger. If she asked me younger, I might have just said yes, just so I could kind of fit in and feel normal. But as I got older, I realized that I would still be autistic. I wouldn't change anything about myself because being autistic, it's a part of who I am, and I wouldn't have been able to do the wonderful and creative, imaginative things that I've done today without it. So no, I wouldn't change anything about me at all.
Bless you, child. As well you should, because no, you are a perfect God's creature, and you are somebody that has risen above. And and your mom's absolutely right. This book and the book that she's written and those books that you've written in your story is good for anybody.
Exactly.
It's anybody that is that, because we all get mired in a bunch of crap and we stop doing stuff that we would like to do and what we don't think that we're capable of doing. Was there a time when you said, oh no, I can't write a book? Well, who the heck do I think I am? Or did you just do it?
Yeah, I did struggle. My mom's
struck a nerve.
Yeah, compared to the two of us, mom is definitely more the positive compared to me. I feel like I've gotten a bit better with it, but yeah, as a young, child, teenager growing up and trying to figure out where do I go, what do I want to do with my life, I did have my negative thoughts like, no, I can't do this, especially because of being autistic. I've been told I can't do certain things, but thanks with my mom and my friends and family that believed in me, like, yes, you can do it, just don't even question yourself, and then just going for it and doing it, and then having people help me to get better, or like, what am I doing right, what am I wrong, and just kind of focusing on the positive side of it. Yeah, I did get better, and yeah, just I felt after a while I could. But yeah, I definitely had my moments where I've been on the negative side, but I got better over it. It's like
I think for Jen, negative side, I think it was just, a bit self-esteem because she knew she was autistic, and just that's a couple of her traits there with her autism. She just would, but that's where I would come in, and I did this with love. Is when she started getting a bit down, I said, I believe in you. I'm confident in you. You've got this. You just have to look at yourself and see what a beautiful person you are and everything. And look at, you're so creative. Because she'll look at herself sometimes and she'll go, I guess it's okay. I've wrote a couple of books and I'm a 2D, 3D animator, and then there's me. What? Do you know what you are? Like, some people don't even have one of those professions. So that's when the mama comes in, and then she goes, oh yeah, you're right, Mom. And then she'll get back to thing. And, so she's an inspiration to me. I'm an inspiration to her. But sometimes, that's, where a trait comes through where I have to, be there and pick her up again and just let her know, hey, you have done so much. You're an inspiration to people. I mean, you won the Self Advocate Award in the past year for autism here in BC. So, she just has to sit back and take another look at herself and just go, yeah, I'm doing good.
And try not to compare myself to others too, because I feel like that's what happens with a lot of people as well, not just for autistic, but for anybody. But because if someone's doing better compared to us, or if someone's being kind of mean to us, we kind of take those personally, and then we get insecure and then not want to do much anymore because someone's either doing better at us, or so we're told we couldn't do that. But I think if you focus on yourself and the things you can do, and just kind of like don't let other people's like negative opinions affect you, you can do what you want. I hope that made sense. I kind of
by the way, you said that beautifully, and absolutely, that's absolutely true. But that doesn't have anything to do with autism. It has to do with, if you've been told all of your life that you're not smart enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not thin enough, you're not tall enough, you're not short enough, whatever it is, if you're told that and you'd believe it, see, in order to be successful, you have to step outside of the belief system that you have been given your entire life by other people that are outside of you. And you have to say to yourself, no, you know what? Damn it, I can do this.
Yeah.
And then just do it. That is the best slogan in the world that, who is it? Nike's got, just do it.
Just do it. Yes. Yeah. And that's what I'd say to Jenny. Just do it. You can do this. I remember when we found out that she was accepted to Vancouver Film School. She says, oh, they'll never accept me, Mom. I'm not even going to. And I remember poor Jenny, she was in class in high school, grade 12. I'm running into the room with balloons and streamers and a card and a cake. You made it. You got into Vancouver Film School. And Jenny, and everybody's looking at, who is this? And the teacher's going, who are you? Oh, I'm Jenny's mom. And they're just like, and I'm running in with cake, streamers, balloons. And then I realized, oh, okay, I'll come back. I'll come back after. But because I knew she could do it. That's where, and now I see it. I see it as she's gotten older. I see that with her, right? And it's like you say in life, when I started acting, I came into acting later in life, did in high school. I was 41. And I remember my family and my friends going, what is wrong with you? Like, do you really think you've been acting? Like, what? Oh, yeah, let's see you go on a TV show. Ha, 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 ha. And then I remember my boss at the time saying, get realistic, Janet. That is never going to happen. And look where I am now, because I believed in myself. I was confident in myself, but I had to believe in myself and be confident in myself and go, hey, why not give it a try? Just like Jenny, you're never going to know unless you do it, unless you try it. So basically along what you said.
Well, you're not going to be allowed to just let that sit there, Janet. You got to tell us what is it that you've done that when you decided at 41, when everybody said, no, you can't do that. You're not, you're kind of, longer, you're not an ingenue anymore and stuff, and you can't be, that, and you did it anyway. So what is it that you've done? Tell our audience.
Well, it doesn't matter what age you are, and especially if you're getting older. If you really have a feeling or a passion in yourself that you want to do something that you never got to do when you were younger, what's the harm in going for it? Because you know what you're going to do? You're going to say something to yourself at 70 or 80. Oh, I wish I'd have went for that. Why didn't I do that? And, I think it steered me even more. So when they told me, oh, brother, what are you doing this for? I'm just the type of go, why can't I do it? I love it. I did it when I was young. I love it. And it was my son too. My son told me to go audition for a play and at a theater. And I said, I'm not doing that. And then when I went, I did it for him. And I went and the acting bit me in the butt again. And I just went for it. I did theater for 15 years, acted, directed, and then I crossed over to film and TV in my mid 50s. And I've done TV, I've done movies, I've done commercials, I've done voiceover. I've met Ewan McGregor. I worked with Ridley Scott's son. So far cry from what I was told at 41 from family and friends. Like, well, are you nuts? Like, don't do that to yourself. And then I look at Jenny. Look at what I was told when she was 3. Never talk, never do well in school, never be where peers are. Her future's bleak. Stick her in the corner. Far cry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But we both worked hard individually and together, to be where we're at today.
Yeah.
It is pretty remarkable story that you had at 41. Because I kind of had a similar thing. Because I wanted to do this, and I did it in my youth, and I was an actor in my youth and stuff. And then I had to get the wife, the picket fence, the kids, and do all that kind of stuff. Well, once that got out of my system, then I wanted to come back and do this again. And people were saying, oh, dear old man, you can't do this. And so I basically have said, yes, I can. And I'm going to. So there. Ha.
And, and look at you. Yay, Kevin. I mean, look at where you're at, right?
Exactly. It's working out just fabulously. And I just love it because I really love talking to people like you that are. And by the way, Janet, don't sell yourself short. You are a remarkable person. And you're one of the reasons why the young lady sitting next to you is where she is today.
Oh, thank you. I know people say you kind of forget about yourself. I says, because it's not about me. It's about my daughter. It's about her journey. It's about where she's come from to where she's at and what she's had to go through. And they go, yeah, but you helped me. Yeah, but you know what? I brought my daughter into this world. It's part of being a parent to be there for your child, because I have seen other people who have had autistic children and have not been there for them or just cast them aside. And it breaks my heart. Mm-hmm. I brought her into the world. I love her. I've wanted to be there every step of the way. And I've wanted to give her the best life that she can the best life she can possibly have. My life is set aside. I'm here for my child. And I was also was there for my son as well. But I think that's very important as a parent of an autistic child you have to be their rock, their sounding board, their voice, their support system. And here she is.
A good parent does that regardless of whether their child is perfect or they have special needs or whatever it is. Unfortunately, there are a lot of folks who get bogged down in the drama of day-to-day living and life, and they don't get that done as well as they could.
And I can understand where it's hard for a parent when they find out their child is autistic. It is. It's a shock to the system.
Yes, but at the same time, but at the same time, Janet, you did not let that define you or Jenny. And you said, screw it. I don't believe you. And we're not going to allow that to stand. And it did not stand. And look where she is today.
I know. Because this is what happens. Thank you. This is what happens. And this is people who come to us who are giving us hugs or crying because they've read my book and our story. And some have said, we didn't go through the cracks because of your story. We came out, because some have gone through the cracks because they've believed what's been told to them. And I even have people still nowadays saying, Janet, some things haven't changed in the school system. Some things haven't changed in the profession. Some things not getting the right help, not getting the right financial support and aid. And I think, oh my goodness, it's needed. It's very, very, very important. And they deserve to get that. So,
well, in the end, by the way, part of it is where you live, because you live in like Canada, eh? And it's a beautiful place up there in Canada, but down here we're not nearly as socially relevant and socially minded as you are.
Mm.
in Canada because you look out after each other.
Yes, very
Down
much so. Yeah.
down here, it's more survival of the fittest, and unless we change that, then we have got tons of kids that are falling through the cracks because
Yeah.
they don't have the support that they need.
Yeah.
So that's another
Yeah, and that's
reason.
where I was fortunate in BC in the Okanagan. I mean, I can't even. They went above and beyond. Their unconditional love, their caring, not only of Jenny, but my son and I as a family. And I mean, they're our best friends now. They're like our second families. We go to the Okanagan, we stay with all these people, you know. So there was a real bond that came of it, and that's where it's very. That's where it's very, very important. And it's funny you should say that between Americans and Canadians, because this is just a little joke, but this is how an American goes in to do their audition for a role. I'm using that chair. I'm sitting down. I'm ready. Let's go. And this is how a Canadian goes in. Hi, is it okay if I use that chair? Can I put it? Oh, thank you. I'm just going to put it up here. Where would you like me to go? You know, like it's so different. Just, and the Canadians just, Although I will say we got some Canadians that are, they can be like that too. But
I'll tell you, I've been meeting a lot of Canadians lately because I have a real good friend who's in BC, and her name's Rebecca, and she's got a screenplay out, and she's very well connected to a lot of folks, and also over on the other side of the country. And I tell you, you guys are a different breed. You're brought up differently. The whole concept of what you guys do it's just different. And if you'd let me in, I'd go, but they won't let me in. So.
Well, I wish they'd let us use Canadian accents in all the TV shows and that, but I gotta learn that darn standard American accent.
I'll tell you what. Yep. Are you? How are you with Southern accents?
I love doing the South. Like I do. I like to do the Southern accents. I like the Minnesotan because I'm from Manitoba and we sound very Minnesotan.
Oh yeah,
that's how I got Fargo, because I put that touch of Manitoban on there. So
yeah, yes indeed. So then no, you're very.
But the standard American, I tell you, that's a really hard one to learn because it's so different. Like I didn't realize we were that different. I found my first audition. They said I did a great audition. The producers wanted me, but they said, "Oh boy, you got to get rid of that Canuck accent." I went, "What?" So, yeah.
You have a Canuck accent? You do. Okay. You know, I don't. I can't.
I do. But we don't say a boot. We do not say a boot. I've never said a boot in my life. That's the Easterners.
Yes, but what is the last letter of the alphabet?
CZ.
Oh, you knew that was coming. Yeah, you knew that was coming. That was very good. So Jenny, I got to ask you. You are 29 years old. You've got a couple of books. You're working on your trilogy. You're working on your screenplay. What's next for you?
Oh man, where do I start? I mean, aside from working on the fur book and script and pitch presentations, I've actually also been working on another book, kind of a graphic novel right now called Belina on the Side, which is kind of about this cat, and she's trying to she's been put in this mysterious forest, and she's kind of can't remember her past, so she's kind of got to explore this forest area, and during a journey it's just trying to figure out her life and what she wants in it. And it's free. It's on my Instagram, Jenny Stories 101. And so I've been working.
You've been working on that other book, but you don't want to say the name of it. I know that.
Yeah, no, not yet for the other one. That's still secret. And And you
do animation. You've been doing some short films.
And I've been doing animation a lot too, especially since with the pandemic, because we haven't been able to do book signing events a lot. I've been able to do some animation. Last year in the summer, I did a short called Sparkles Loves Bacon, which was about my dog because he really loved bacon when he was around. And then I'm working on another short right now, and just working on little mini acting animation shorts.
And she probably won't see them, but she's done a couple of years of background acting, and she just, Kevin, had an audition because she's come on with my agent. She just had a callback for Warner Talent in LA, and she also just did a supporting lead audition for a role in a Hallmark movie, and it's for an autistic individual.
Oh, Jenny, you are will you when after you're on the red carpet in Hollywood, and then you pick up your Oscar, will you come back on my show?
Of course I will. Of course.
Oh, she'll be waving hi, Kevin, up there when she's doing her.
Oh, I tell you, because the beautiful thing about you, young lady, is the sky's the absolute limit. You can do anything you choose to do.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that is my goal from now on. Well, I mean, always, but
Yeah. And that's what we want to share with others. Like I say, in the autistic community and the general public, shine your light, push your obstacles that away.
Yeah.
I mean, if this young girl can go through what she went through and be where she is now and being autistic, well, what's stopping any of us from doing anything that we want to do? And what's stopping any autistic child? Like I say, I know there's the different levels of autism, but let them reach the highest peak that they can, whatever level they're on. They richly deserve that.
They really do, and we don't know. We really don't know what can be accomplished. You are a shining example, Jenny, of what when they said nope, 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 and you turned it all into yep, and you're doing so well. We don't know, and I think it's a crime for a doctor to be able to say you can't. When they said that you can never work in a bank, trust me, you don't want to work in a bank. You want to be on a movie set. That's where you want to be, or be writing a book and be giving lectures on what you're doing and the books and that kind of stuff. And when the trilogy comes out, how long before the third book is done?
Oh gosh. Let's see. I've gotten quite a few chapters in it. The goal would be to maybe have it 2025, but with how long it's coming compared to the second one, it could be longer. Yeah, but the goal would be to get 2025.
If she can get it done earlier, she will, because we have people coming to us.
Yeah.
Oh, Marlene, how much longer do we have to wait for this book? Because we just got to know what's happening, what's going on.
Yeah.
But it is really, there's so much going on in these books, but it's,
So you've got people that have read book number 1 and book number 2, and you're going to make them wait until 2025.
I didn't think that one. I was hoping with how big the second one would be, it would take people time. But see, that's how engaged people were. They were able to read it within a week. They're like, okay, we want the third one. I was like, oh gosh.
That's the beauty of what you did was you set the first book up, and it's shorter, and they got to learn the characters, and they got to enjoy them. And so when the second book came, it was not like reading a new book. It was like the continuation of the first book. And so now they're waiting for, you probably left it on a cliffhanger, so now they're waiting for, now what's going to happen? Oh no.
Yeah, in a sense, the continuation of the third one. Yeah, the third one's definitely going to be bigger.
Yeah, so we're hoping it'll either go like a trilogy movie, and then other people have saying, Jen, like in my entertainment field, people coming out are going, why are you not making this into like a TV series? Because you could separate all those. Then that could go for a few years, and people would love that. And they said maybe it'll suit more a TV series. So.
However it looks, now that you now that you have an agent, you can say, well, I'll have my agent call you. That's pretty cool to be able to say.
Yeah. So, and I hope one day too, I've been talking about it with someone, but I'd like to go a bit further outside of Canada, but I would really like to do a feature film or movie on Jenny's life, with also the intricacies that are coming also flowing through from the different avenues, from, as a mom, as a brother, as an ex-husband who wasn't there, as number one, Jenny going through, and how it all interwaves and clouds over. And because I didn't mention that part in my book, I wanted to keep it to the realism of her journey with the autism, because like a lot of autism, parents who have autistic children, they split, and there are certain reasons for it. But there's just a whole different viewpoint I want to give it in a movie. But I still want the realism, the truth to come out from it. So hopefully
Well,
that will happen too.
that's a darn thing about people, is that we're all imperfect,
Yeah.
and some of us handle stress in not the best of ways.
No.
But
It's
I'm
so
just,
true.
I'm just so Janet, and I don't know if people say this to you. I'm sure they do a lot, but I
I
haven't met
talk too
you yet.
much.
No, you should be really, really proud of what you've helped Jenny become.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
And
Means a lot.
and Jenny, I can't tell you how proud I am to know you, because you are going to set the world on fire and are going to do some great things.
Aw.
And success is not necessarily about making the most money. Success is living the best life and having the best time. And with that smile of yours. And I know that every day isn't, cupcakes and ice cream, but if you can have more days that are good days than bad days, then you're ahead of the game.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know what?
Yeah.
You have
Thank
just
you.
I know you've reached her heart, because I can see that in her, and you've reached mine. I just want to say, Kevin, that you are a extraordinary human being.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say this without crying. You are a very lovely gentleman. I can feel your heart and soul through this, and since and talking with you, and what you say to us means a lot, coming from someone like who you are. So thank you for being you, and letting us be with you as well here on your show.
Yeah.
I have the best time when I'm with you. If you remember, we did a 15-minute intake. We call it a 15-minute intake meeting, where we sit down and we talk and stuff. I can never get it done in 15 minutes. I don't know why that is, but I think we talked for like 45 minutes or something like that.
It was longer, Kevin. I went, uh-oh.
Well, we were having fun. It was a good time.
It was a good time, and Jenny, I'm so it makes my heart warm that you've warmed up to me, because I know that it just makes me so happy, and you are extraordinary. And will you guys come? I would love to have you and follow your careers on an ongoing basis. Can we do this kind of on a semi-regular basis?
Hey, you're stuck with us now, Kevin.
Yeah.
Well,
you're stuck with these Canucks.
Yeah.
Get ready, we're coming over the border to see you in person soon.
You're not that far away from me. We should do that.
No, we're not. I love Seattle.
Yeah. When you're down here, give me a ring, and we'll
we'll go
We'll
go for supper or something.
Yeah, I'll have my agent talk to your agent, and we'll
you get your agent talk to me. Yeah, okay.
and by the way, I do voiceover work too. So anyway,
love voiceover work. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. So we need to wrap this up. But Jen, is there anything you'd like to tell our audience before we go, and then Jenny's turn?
Yeah, I just wanted to read something. This is really quick. This was from Jenny's learning resource teacher. And this is when she was told, when she first met her in high school, that Jenny came with a label, because both her and I hated that word label. Okay. I think we're all normal with a bit of quirk or special needs. But she said, and her name was Lisa, she said, Lisa, Jenny's case manager, had been told Jenny came with a label. And though she agreed that Jenny didn't talk much, she maintained that Jenny listened very well. Lisa said when Jenny spoke, she spoke with purpose and wisdom, choosing her words carefully. She also said that Jenny took a different path, not the one expected. She would choose her path carefully, always keeping her final destination in mind. Even when the path appeared to be too steep or treacherous, Jenny forged on. One perspective that Lisa shared about Jenny, one that is my favorite, was that she thought the label should have said, "The best is yet to come." Lisa added that she was very thankful to have known Jenny, and that Jenny reminds her every day that, and in quotations, a story is not written until the author writes it, and Jenny is a great writer.
Ooh,
that one's always moved me.
That gives you chills. And I'm so glad that you've had such supportive people in your life, and we all need support, and regardless of who we are. And it's really good that you've done that. But I couldn't be prouder of you, and I can't wait to see what you. I think you're gonna get that role. That you're the lead that you're up for, and I think you're gonna knock it out of the park.
Oh, thank you.
So cute.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Yep.
That's so then I get to see on the I get to see on the red carpet. I interviewed a gal just the other day. Are you familiar with the CNN Heroes program?
Pardon me?
Are you familiar with the CNN Heroes program?
Yes.
She was in the top 10, and she got, and this is what I hope for you. She got introduced by Linda Carter, who was Wonder Woman back in the 70s.
Wow.
So she came up and received her award from Wonder Woman, and that I hope who I want. I want Sandra Bullock to introduce you.
Oh, cool. Well, you technically.
Well, I was near her because I was in Sandra Bullock's movie The Unforgiven, and then Jenny did background on her movie The Unforgivable too. I played
cool.
Mom Whelan in The Unforgivable, and Jenny did background in it too.
And she was there. Right. It was really cool. What?
That's right. You did that, and so.
And I love Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
You got any dirt on her? No, I'm kidding. She's a wonderful human being, and
she's a wonderful human being. Great mother, talented actress. I know some people put her under that, but I don't get it. I saw her in Blind Side. I see her in other things, and she was very good in The Unforgivable. Very, very good. Yeah.
I want to thank both of you again. Jenny, is there anything you'd like to add before we go?
Whatever you're doing, do what you want to do today. Do what you love. Don't let people tell you what you can or can't do. Just keep going through the good and the bad, and you can achieve anything you want. And have a good day.
Well done.
Have a good day.
have a happy day. And Jan and Jenny, thank you so much for being here. And get her book. And the name of your book again, Janet, is.
Oh, my book is, although this is my one, I get things I should have my other one, but my book is The Autistic Author and Animator, A Mother's View of a Daughter's Triumph.
And Jenny, the name of your series is?
The name of my series is Dysnomia. The first book is called Dysnomia, Outcast on a Distant Moon. That's the first one, and the second one is Dysnomia, Home Lies in Your Heart. And
don't drop that. It's going to break your knee.
It fell on my toe the other day. I think I did. It is so heavy.
If you guys will wait right there, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Thanks for enjoying this episode all the way to the end. Please give us a like and subscribe to this channel. This has been a production of kmmedia.pro. Please visit our website, oddly enough, named kmmedia.pro, for more details about us and our mission, which is to provide great positive programming designed to inspire us all. I'm Kevin McDonald, and I'm proud of these shows, and I truly hope that you'll like them and share them with friends and family. So on behalf of our entire team, remember, be kind to each other because each other's all we've got. We'll see you next time.